Sort of a test series episode here. I'm testing out the game Total War Empire. Playing this one as this is an Austrian attempt at Total War Empire. This is one of my favorite games of all time, probably. Total War Empire, focusing on the 18th century Europe, mostly Europe, but there are multiple theaters of war you can play in the Americas, and there's also India, Indian subcontinent, as well as these other small sort of like trade theaters, Ivory Coast, Brazil. I'm sure most of you guys have played this game before and you know what I'm talking about. It's a classic Total War game. I think it's my favorite Total War game. A lot of people like Shogun 2. I've never actually played Shogun 2, so but I think for me it's my favorite because of the theme, the thematic theme. I love the 18th century. The 18th century is one of my favorite time periods. I wrote my thesis paper in grad school on 18th century New England and market economies there. I really see the 18th century, 1700s as like the beginning of the modern era. This is when you have the beginnings of large population explosions in cities and everything, and urbanization. Industrialization begins in the 1700s, even though most of the Industrial Revolution is in the 1800s, but you see the beginnings in the 1700s, particularly in Britain with the textile industry, and I think you just have a revolution of market systems, and you have the Enlightenment, revolutions in government, the French Revolution, the American Revolution. Adam Smith publishes his Wealth of Nations in 1776. You have really the First World War with the 7 Years' War between England and France. And really sort of shows how like the modern English banking system is able to outspend the French old aristocratic system. I see it's like a sort of a turning point in world history, the end of the feudalistic period and the beginning, well, feudalism had kind of ended already, but you still have feudalism in Russia actually, but the end of an aristocratic class system in Europe and the beginnings of a market capitalistic system that still really drives the world today, regardless of what countries exist. Really, the world is a capitalist world today, I think. So this is definitely my favorite time period, and I'm doing this as a test run. So like I said, I showed you there, I was playing as Austria. We are in 1728. I think it's a full game. I don't remember exactly what I played this a while ago, and sort of at peace with everybody. I was kind of have a diplomatic victory over here. If we were playing civilization, I think I could declare diplomatic victory. I think we're at war with Courland. We have one war with Courland and, of course, war with the pirates. But I've negotiated peace with most of the major powers and have trade agreements with them as well. The reason why I'm playing this is just like a test run, like I said. It's not probably going to be an actual series. I am going to start a series with Total War Empire. I'm interested to see if people on the channel are interested in seeing it. I'm also testing out for volume here and to see if this music is outdoing my voice and everything. I can't do Total War with OBS for some reason. I don't know how to capture it, so I'm doing it with XSplit. But I can't see what I'm doing on my other monitor, so this is sort of like a test run technically. And also I want to see if there's any popularity for this. But the reason why is because there's a request by Patreon, Ari Holyfield, Patreon and Discord founder for Roma Imperia, my official Discord, which I'll put the link in the description. He requested that I play a Prussian series, Prussian Glory, and I put some pretty steep goals on me there. And I'm up for the challenge. Like I said, I played this game. I probably played this game more than any other game on Steam, I think. This was my first game that I played on Steam. And as Austria, here I've already knocked out the Prussians. And I'm beating back the Poles. I'll just give you a quick overview of my empire. It's not going to be a long episode, I don't think. But let's just take a look at what I have set up here. I have a lot of trade with the Ivory Coast. I've got ivory coming in from there. And I've established trade partnerships with almost every European country. So that's bringing in tons of revenue. I only have one Ivory Coast node. I'm going to give you a little economic background here of the game. I didn't want to go to all of them because then it would be bringing in too much ivory, and that would actually drive down the price of the ivory when you bring in too much of a resource. So I'm trying to sort of maintain a... Well, first of all, I have a monopoly on it. No one else seems to have any fleets here. There is a pirate fleet here. that is actually helping me, because no one else is sending ships down this way, and I've got a force here. This is my trade fleet, but it's being guarded by a second fleet under Admiral Johann von Banden, fifth-rate ship, with a fourth-rate ship of the line, and another fifth-rate Admiral flagship, and a brig. It looked like we had a brig. Oh no, I have a sixth-rate here. We could probably move that sixth-rate into that fleet. We'll keep it where it is. But this is bringing in $4,000 worth of ivory trade, and the pirates just are not touching me. They're not. They have a galleon here, Terracotta Marmot, and then a sixth-rate. So that position looks pretty good for me. Economically, most of my income is through taxes. A lot of income through trade, and I'm making 10,000 gold per turn, plus that extra 3,000 there. I really set this up economically for my advantage, and I don't need to do anything. I don't need to pursue a war at this moment. I think I just need to acquire wealth. I do have a fleet that I have dispatched for the New World, I believe. Where is that fleet? I am looking to get a... I have a fleet in the New World, but they're kind of battered, I think. Yeah, there's two ships. They're kind of beat up a little bit, and I don't have a port there right now. This is the fleet in the Mediterranean. I have them dispatched to Brazil, northeast. This will put them right about... I can move them over. Right about here. And so I'm going to attack the Guyanas. I like the Guyanas. They're nice, easy colonies to grab here. They've already been beaten here. The port has been hit. They're controlled by rebels. Arawakan rebels control both of these, so native tribes. We got a nice plantation here for spice, as well as a sugar plantation. I have one of my agents here, a rake. He's keeping surveillance and letting me know what the army size is, which really isn't much. And I think I dispatched... There's also a gold mine and 2 gold mines and a gem mine. Average yield there. So these are pretty wealthy provinces. 3,800 right there. For that one, for Dutch Guyana and French Guyana is... Oh, I don't have the rake there. But both of them are pretty wealthy. They got ports. Pretty wealthy colonies, and I'm gonna maybe try to get Austria to have their first colony, because the Austrians never had American colonies. We'll have Austrian imperial colonies. The pirates also control a couple other islands here. We can go after those, and there's also sugar plantations there, so we can grab them and add to our sugar trade. That's good because it won't be expanding the ivory trade. That'll keep ivory at that price. Spice is in at the second highest price, so that'll be pretty profitable, and sugar is third. Tied with tea and tobacco. There's always the option too of going and invading India. Not India itself, but Sri Lanka down here, or Ceylon. They've got tea in this island too, and this usually ends up in the hands of rebels. So nice to snag those rebel colonies without offending any major European powers. So that's something good to look at. I want to talk a little bit about economic strategy here. I think I titled this video, or I'm going to title this Austrian Economics. So one thing that I'm going to do in this game is, what I've begun to do, is exempt all my provinces from taxes. Since I have such high profitable on trade, I can use this trade income as an advantage to pay for my army and navy upkeep. I can't pay for all of it. But I'm going to try to exempt most of my colonies, or most of my provinces, from taxes, because by doing that, it creates a tremendous amount of growth. If I was to bring the taxes back, tax predicted brings growth down 16 per turn, which will bring it down to 4, but right now it's at 20, and that just adds to the wealth number here. The longer I can do that, the more wealthier my provinces, and then when war does break out, I can tax them, and I'll be able to extract more wealth. So I'm going to so this is sort of an Austrian school approach, no taxes. I sort of talk about that in Talked about that in other series that I played, geopolitical simulator series on a neoliberal approach to Brazil. Sort of similar, so it's sort of a play on words, I guess. Somewhat of a pun. But also the tax growth allows for towns to grow, population in towns to grow as well. And with towns, you can invest, turn them into factories and other areas that really drive the economy. So if you can exempt your provinces from taxes by having a strong trade income, that's a good approach to this game, I think. And that's an approach I like to take if I have the advantage. That's what I've already been doing here. All these provinces are pretty much exempt. East Prussia, that's a big chunk of money. They're already at 6,000. I'm going to see what else there is. Poland, yeah, Poland. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and exempt them. The only ones that I wouldn't exempt would be the ones that don't have towns, I think. That would be ideal, because once you develop all towns, then you don't need to... I mean, you can still grow through wealth, but you don't need to worry about growing population as much. And with those new towns, some of those buildings can create, we'll exempt them, can create industries that allow the economy to grow as well. So here we have no villages, and this is in Italy, so they're gonna get taxed. No villages left, we'll keep them taxed. Venice doesn't have any villages left, they're gonna be taxed. Central Italy, let's exempt them. Go ahead and exempt. Florence will be ready in 3 turns. And we'll bring in a tremendous amount of wealth. Brandenburg. I'll come back to Brandenburg. Saxony, definitely going to get exempted. Brandenburg was a lot. Bohemia, we'll exempt them. Croatia's already exempted, and that's back to Venice. So what are we looking at here income-wise? We still have 6,000. So Austria's got 1,800. No villages left, so we'll tax there. 2,000. That's 47. Exempt them, we'll make it 15. 3,000 left there, and the last one was Brandenburg. Stettin is at 25. We exempt them. That's going to add so much growth here. And it'll be 10. I'm good with that. Alright, so those are my economic policies. We're down to 1,000. And I'm not going to do anything else this turn. Let me just run through here, see what's coming up down the line here. We got an ordnance factory in 2 turns, and fortifications in Brandenburg. Anything else being developed? This is Vienna. Vienna is building an imperial palace. That should increase our income. I'm not going to spend any more money. Yep, that's it. Okay, so, that's my situation, my approach to Austria. I'm going to click the turn here, and we'll see what happens. I might end up in a fight. We'll see. I'm also testing this out to see if there's any copyrights on YouTube. I think some of my old YouTube videos, I do have a Russian series that I tried a long time ago. I think it was the first series I ever did on YouTube. Audio is horrible, so don't even bother watching it. I should just take that off my channel too. I think I have that on my homepage of my channel. Audio is terrible with that. So, but I used to play music in the background, like Beethoven and Chopin and other people as I played, because this is thematic to the time period. What is going on here? These are Poland, Lithuania. No. You want a technology for military access? Poland, Lithuania, I'm probably going to end up at war with you. I'm going to refuse this offer. Not going to happen. They are moving east towards Russia. I look at the whole diplomatic situation. I haven't played this game in maybe over a year or two. It's been a while. But it is definitely one of my favorites. And the combat feature is pretty fun, too. One of the reasons why I like this better than other Total War games is because I like the gunfire aspect. I played Attila, and I played Warhammer, and the whole melee stuff can be fun, but I like the gunpowder action combat better than the melee combat, personally. And these guys are taking a while. Let's speed them up here. Poland, Lithuania, all moving towards Russia. Moving towards the Russians. I wonder what they'll be doing with them. Ottoman Empire wants a military alliance. Who are their enemies? They have too many enemies. France, Sweden, Dagestan. Sweden I'm not interested in. Sweden I'm worried about. I'm going to refuse that offer. No thank you, Ottomans. I have to conquer the Ottomans. That's part of my objective. I think that's the last objective I have in this game. The Swedes have taken Denmark, and I think they've even moved into Germany. So I do not want a war with Sweden. They are a major power to the north of my border. The Venetians I've pummeled. I captured their capital. Oh, look at this! Courland is trying to attack. Can I retreat from this position? This is only one cavalry regiment, and Courland's brought their entire army. Yes. No, I'm just gonna let them kill it. There's no point in fighting that battle. I probably should have fought it just to see what it was, see if there would be copyrights on the fighting. But I could probably, if I get to America, maybe I can give you guys some combat action there. Army destroyed. Not really an army, more of a scout or a raiding party, actually. I probably should have pulled them back. We have a Catholic missionary in Croatia. Another rake in Silesia, and construction report brings in Iron Master's works in Central Italy, Tannenberg, East Prussia, Magdeburg, Brandenburg, and a theater in Hungary. This should definitely expand our wealth. And we recruited a unit, a Admiral's flagship in the Adriatic Sea right here. How's our Navy looking? We have the Admiral's flagship with 1 brig. There's 2 brigs. Infantry. Should probably consolidate my Navy and move them into this fleet here. This is a poor harbor. Good place for a dockyard, because we want your prosperous harbors to be your trade ports. So that's prosperous. That's prosperous. Alright. So, our Adriatic fleet consists of 1 5th-rate Admiral flagship with 2 brigs. Our colonial fleet, the one that's been dispatched at least, he has 2 brigs, a 4th-rate ship, and a 6th-rate. That seems pretty weak, actually. Trying to get to the New World here. Americas. Make sure we're going to the Americas. And maybe we can get combat from them. But this was really just a test series, so if you guys like... Oh, look at that big Moroccan fleet just popped. Oh, they're all weak, like galleys. So this is just the test run. Let me know if you guys like the video. I might do one more just to see if there's combat. But right now I'm just testing, see if the background music and everything works out well with XSplit. So thanks for watching. If you did like the video, if you want to see more Total War Empire games, particularly a Prussian Glory series, I'm trying to gauge popularity on the channel. I'm definitely going to do it. I just want to see how popular it is before I do it. And again, just testing this out for, there's an Ottoman fleet. Testing this out for copyright and other technical issues. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.